Yo, good morning. It's your boy Mike Next Barber. We are out here once again with the morning check-in, checking in on you so you can check in on me. Tap in. That's how the brothers say they used to tap in. Um, like it, share it. If you're not watching it right now, you see it a little bit later. Yo, type that in so I can know that you tapped in, right? Because I need to know what's going on. I need to know the numbers. I need to know who's tapping in and who's checking in, and leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? Yo, leave a comment or something you want to talk about, for the next day. Because we usually here 5 days a week. In the mornings, 8:30. We here, yo, good morning, Miss Chicago, let's go. You know, what's good? We got to keep working. So, so this morning, I got up and I sat up and I stretched, right? You got to stretch. I always laugh at myself. So when I be laughing like that, I just like my mind is like, yo, I don't know. I just find it funny. So I know I got to stretch, right? We getting older. Anybody should stretch anyway, because when you stretch, it's like you bringing a towel out, bringing out your muscles, bringing out, put water back in. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're doing. Um, and I did, I didn't realize it. Like I went to see my mom. So are you ripping all white Broncos now? What's that? Um, um, I realized when I went to home, I went home, I went to see my mom. And Mikey, what's up, man? What you talking about? Went to see my mom and she's like, Mikey, your stomach getting big. And I was like, no, it ain't. And then I looked and I was like, yo, oh nah. We're gonna get to OJ in a second. Um, and I was like, yo, you gotta get back in the gym. Like Mike, you remember every morning I was on my way to the gym, right? Every morning I was getting up and I was doing my thing on Facebook and Instagram every morning. Yo, so I worked out this week a few times. I did some stuff. So I'm back at it. So I'm saying all that to say, how did I wind up falling off with exercising and not even talking about it? Like people really need it. We need it. Yo, Prince, we need it. And we got to do some things that we got to do. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, get down and do some push-ups. There's some push-ups, there's some ab work. And I just got started back slowly. You know what I'm saying? I didn't fall off, but I fell off for a couple of months. And that gut started getting crazy. Slim Jones, that gut started getting crazy. We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get back to it. So I realized that I'm the power of example too. And people have been saying it lately, like, yo, you used to be in the gym all the time. Well, I know you was doing this. And I talked to Royce the other day. He's like, yo, I know you hit the iron. And I felt like, dang, I felt like a sucker because I wasn't. So all I'm saying is we got to get back to it. It's time to get back to it and do some things. Yo, good morning. We got to do these things and we got to stay ahead of the curve because falling off, it's hard to get back on that horse and start riding. It's hard to do that. So we got to get back to it, man. So it's all good. Yo, rest in peace, OJ Simpson. You know, he had a really fulfilled life from good to bad, good, bad, and ugly. You know what I'm saying? He had all that going on. Rest in peace to him. He, great running back. He had issues with people had issues with the way he chose life and things he's done. Right on the positive side of things, he he was an example for blacks in America that you could be successful being an athlete, actor, athlete. He wasn't an activist. He was not an activist. He was not somebody that said, yo, I'm for all the black people, all the brothers. He wasn't somebody that did that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm not black, I'm OJ. So uh, Caitlyn Jenner, aka Bruce Jenner, I saw a meme that said "good riddance," and I don't know if it was for him or not. Was that for him? I don't really know, but you know, shout TikTok, Jesse Scott, what's up? Dark skin, what's good? We out here, we working, man. I'm shouting out, shout outs in order. So R.I.P. to Juice, man. He was a legend. But that whole other incident that he had, I know a lot of people are saying, "Dang, like Caitlyn Jenner, like good riddance, justice." Finally, he had prostate cancer. He was living his best life. I don't know that guy. I don't know that man, so I ain't really speaking down on him or any of that stuff. I just know it was a whirlwind of things happening in his life. So rest in peace to him. Rest in peace, Mr. DJ, Mr. C. Still don't know what happened to him, but R.I.P. to him. He you know, he was the original party rocker. Like he was one of the greats, as far as DJing is concerned. He is one of the greats. So we gotta gotta give him a moment of silence for Mr. C. He had the list with what up T, good morning. He had DJ for Big Daddy Kane, you know what I'm saying? And we gotta give him his flowers, man. We gotta give Mr. C his flowers. And you can't judge that man based on all the other antics and stuff he was doing. That ain't none of my business. But I know one thing. That midday mix and all that stuff, he was that dude. So I always sat and listened to him right away. T, what's up? What you mean it's about OJ? What's good? What you got? What's the word, brother? Good morning. Good morning. Dina, good morning. OJ Simpson, what y'all got? How y'all feel? You feel sad? You feel mad? He was a legend. He was definitely a legend. I never forget during the Knicks game. I wasn't mad at I wasn't mad at I was a little mad because it interrupted the Knicks game. But when we saw that chase, we saw that truck, and the police chasing the truck, and OJ was in the truck. Yo, he lived quite a life, man. That was wild. The chase down, right? The whole story. Greatest chase ever, T. You're right. Greatest chase ever. I just remember, man, watching the playoffs, right? Was watching the Knicks. Knicks was playing the Bulls, or they was playing the Bulls or Houston. Who was playing? I forgot. But either way, sexy Slim. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, a lot of the Quakers are upset. I mean, Quakers are happy he bit the bullet and he just didn't make it. They so happy about that, but shout out to Johnny Cochran because that day I don't know who did it. I don't know OJ did what people keep saying he did. Some say he did. I don't know. Say he got away with it. But when he got off, the whole boulevard was crazy. Everybody black was jumping up and down. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So, I mean, what you gonna do, man? If you got away with it, people get away with things. What you gonna do? Yep, changed America, definitely. So, either way, man, we lost a legend. We lost a legend, and like T said, it changed America. It divided a lot. It was already like pretty much divided. You know what I'm saying? And you're right, Dina. Quakers get away with it all the time. They just get away with everything. So, we was like happy that this one time, somebody got away with it. If he did it, allegedly, we don't know. The glove didn't fit. That's all I know. Yeah, showed us we could win something. It was good. It was good, man. It was a good time in the '90s. It was a wild time, and we watched the '90s. We watched a lot of things happen in the '90s. We're gonna have to do a '90s talk one day. But the Juice had, he had those what was those movies he was in? The funny movies with his name Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen. Yep. Yep. That stuff was funny, man. It's running through the airport. And he always getting beat. He was always getting hurt. Naked gun. Which part? You know what I'm saying? How many naked guns? You know what I'm saying? That was good stuff. Man, the Juice ain't make it, man. Then he got locked up right, for going back and getting somebody that robbed his house and was selling his like his footballs and all those memorabilia. And he went with the guy with the goons and went back to the crib. We gonna get all our stuff back. So we did like 2 years or something like that. 2 years for it. Yeah, he ain't get away with that. And they took his money. Harvey from TMZ was ecstatic to find out he died. What? I didn't see that. Man, wait, how much time he got for that? When he robbed, how much time he got? Yeah, Cameron Mace. He had 9 years. How much time OJ did? He did 9. I don't remember him doing 9. He did 9. Guess I gotta do my homework. Funny thing, fun fact: I always got in trouble as a kid in school for not doing my homework. That's wild. Dana, if you drink coffee, go buy the donut shop coffee. Yo, that coffee's so good. I had this red velvet coffee. The sugar is crazy, but well, not really. It's the creamer. It's got sugar in it. That thing. Right. That's good. It's good. Man, I'm feeling good this morning. I had to rethink and get back to the basics, man. I had to get back to this week has been an ill week. From all things we have been talking about. Um, it's been a wild week. From tearing down that concrete wall, that work. We played basketball Sunday. I was real sore. Picking up all those bricks and putting them in my truck and taking them to the dump. That was a lot of work. And then today I got up and did it. So a light workout, nothing big, just to get back started. And T, you retired. You need to get back in the gym. You need to get right. Yo, good morning, Facebook. Good morning. Leave some comments. We talking about OJ. We talking about health, working out, and I ate salads all week. Yo, let me tell you, last week on that road, riding to New York, I ate so bad, man. I mean, it is bad as an adult. It's bad all the way around, right? But as a kid, as a young person, you can consume that stuff because your what you call it, in your body. It moves so fast that you can burn all that stuff out fast. You can burn all that stuff out fast. And yo, what up, Rock? But you can't be eating all that stuff now. Mad McDonald's and French fries and hamburgers and chicken sandwiches and all that stuff. You got to be careful. TikTok, what's up? Yo, good morning. You can't be eating all that stuff. So, hey, leave a comment about OJ. People are really happy that this guy is gone. Mostly the Quakers, And I say Quakers. The reason I say Quakers is because the man on the Quaker oats, the grits and all that stuff is a little man face. So I say the Quakers. So please don't get offended when I say that. All right. Let's not do that. Let's not be extra sensitive. The juice is loose. Juice was the man, yo. No. Good morning. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. So I just realized this week that you have to be intentional. Like T, I get up in the morning. I used to say that all the time. Yo, we got to be intentional. We have to be intentional when it comes to our health and our lives and everyday life, right? Be intentional because it's only going to benefit you, and you'll be stuck. Like we'll be stuck on stupid, pretty much. We'll be stuck on stupid. Sharice, good morning. We'll be stuck if you're not intentional about things that you need to do in your life. It'd be like Groundhog Day. Who wants that? When you want better for your life, you want more. You got to work. There's things you got to do, and you can't just sit around. Can't do that. We got to work. So that was this week. Recapping and rethinking and we just got things that we got to do. Sad to hear he passed regardless of what he did or didn't do. Right. The juice passed on. He ain't make it. But yeah, people are happy. It's what, Rob? It's to be expected, right? That people then want OJ to make it. It's to be expected because Yo Kendrick, people say he got away with it. So they mad. Right. He still had family that loved him. People do, like and we're all human, right? At the end of the day, we're all human. We make mistakes and we do things, but gosh, they so mad. Are you so mad at this guy? It ain't funny, but what you gonna do? What y'all got going on? Oh, it's the weekend. It's about to be the weekend. All right, so I got a question. That's what I want to talk about. And I wrote it here, Rocky. I'm gonna show you. I wrote it. Okay, as blacks in America, right? We all black, right? My fault. We're not all black. A lot of people is black that's watching, right? So the look how they had military going in Puffy's house. They don't do that with Quakers. Nah, they don't do that with the Quakers. So we're the biggest influence in the world, right? Black culture, hip hop black culture. I'm gonna use that. Is the biggest brown, right? Yeah. It's the black culture. Black culture is the biggest influence in America. Because I can't say brown because it's too many. Brown is too mixed up. I'm really talking about blacks and like black Americans is the biggest influence in America, and it's usually a lower income blacks. Right? Think about it. It's not the middle class. Middle class, they working and doing their thing. Right? Middle class doing their thing. But the lower class blacks, that's where everybody emulates. That's where all of the creative dances and fashion, music, style, all that stuff comes from us, right? Because I'm part of that. Being from South Jamaica, Queens, I'm part of that. And with all that being said, because I know y'all agree with that, all that being said, how come our influence doesn't match our progress? Right? upper poor, lower poor, whatever it is, right? Right. I know what you're saying, upper poor. How come it doesn't match our? How come we haven't moved up on the ladder, on the totem pole? How come? How come? We've seen a lot of blacks in the '90s become millionaires and become really wealthy and rich. It's a small percentage, but all those influences, what happened? Which part has to be taught? What part has to be taught? It's so many layers to this, and I was thinking about it yesterday. I was talking to my boy Poon. Shout out to Poon. I was talking to Poon about it, and I was trying to ask him how to ask this question, and we came up with this way, because we don't save or invest. We bum rush in sample store. Yeah, that's why. Um, but a lot of people see it's the thought process, right? So we don't reinvest in our own culture. There's so many layers to this. There's so many layers, because you got to remember it's a thought process too, right? That's one thing. Let's knock them down, knock the list down. We don't invest and we don't save, right? So that's one. So we don't save or invest because we never had anything. So if you never had anything and then you get some money and you come into some money, you're gonna spend it because you're gonna get things that you never had, right? That's one. Until you figure out, and I had this was a dumb investment. I bought all these sneakers. I went to a strip club. I bought a car. You know what I'm saying? All this bad investments and not saving any of it. Then you don't have anything and you broke. It's a mentality. It's a poor mentality. That's one, right? Now, Rocky said we don't reinvest in our own culture. You got to elaborate on that. You know, I guess kind of, when you kind of get yourself in a better financial position, you leave, right? You get out of there and you don't come back. You don't come back to the community. See, that's why this is important, because we're building a community, even if it's an online community. We're building something, and nobody has to physically be with each other. We can be in different states. We can even be in different countries, but it's a community that we're building, right? And we got to change the thought process to doing better. So say I move to Buckhead, right? Buckhead's in Atlanta, and Buckhead's in Atlanta. The realist, we asking the question is, how come our influence doesn't match our progress as a culture, like Black American culture? Like we the biggest influencers in the world. So how come we are not higher on the totem pole? That's the question. And we just breaking it down, the thought process. So say I move to Buckhead. Buckhead's in Atlanta, and it's like all the old money. You move there. So say we move to Buckhead. I move to Buckhead. Then I come back. Just Rock, I'm just using you as an example. It's not real. Okay. I go to Rock, and he back around the way. I'm like, yo, Rock, come with me. You want to come around to my side of town? And say Rock is one of those guys, loud mouth, wild, like don't really care, very ignorant. And I go, yo, you can't do that. You can't do that over here, because I'm a little different now. I'm a little different at this point because I've grown and I've seen and dealt with different people, more calm people. It doesn't have to be Quakers. It doesn't have to be them, but it's just somebody that thinks a little differently, And then Rock goes, yo, you changing, man. You change. You acting like them. But what's wrong with that? What's wrong with acting like you got some sense or learning something different? I don't want to offend, like, and say acting like you got sense, but some people do act like they don't have no sense. You know what I'm saying? And we can't do that. So it's more to life than the corner. That's right. That's right, Kendrick. It's more to life. And it's growth. It's growth. We have to grow. It's a mentality that we have that we are not, like you saying, changing. We have to change the culture. Like the creative side is great, the influence is great, but we so far down on the totem pole. Like, how do we create? Like, we the biggest consumers, right? Biggest consumers in America. How come we don't have? Okay. Another thing is we don't keep the black dollar in the community. We don't keep our dollar. That is gone. Once you get it, it's gone. Come on. Come on, man. Talk to him, Mike. Let's go. I was talking to my man Chris yesterday because sometimes when I have questions, I want to get a little more input from other people and people's opinions. So he's not going to be on here, so he's not going to be able to say it what his response is. And his response was the church. People have disbanded the church. And I said, well, you disbanded the church, but a lot of people not believing in the church. They're not believing in it because the church used to be the cornerstone of the community, like, those pastors and stuff like that. Rolls Royce, they used to have that. It was a kind of the cornerstone of the community, right? But people have different religions. They go to different religions and they believe in certain things. And how you gonna be a slave and believe what the slave masters tell you? You got all that stuff. So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff going on, but structure, morals, and values. That's what a lot of the Bible brings. A lot of structure to a lot of people that are just out here recklessly running around, and they don't have direction. So they go to church and get some structure and try to understand right from wrong and stuff like that. Royce, we talking about how come our influence on the world doesn't match our progress as a culture? That's the question. We are the biggest consumers of products, Gucci, Prada, just to show off to other people in the community that we can afford it. And most of the products were never intended for us. That's true. That's true. Royce, I want you to kind of answer that. Through I want to see your opinion. I want to hear your opinion on it because we're the biggest influencers in the world. Like, it's not just America. It's in the world. Like, I'm watching. It's wild. I'm watching Middle Easterners that were. This is part of Russia that have people from the Middle East that lived there, and the culture was there. Like the dancing and stuff they was doing, and all the stuff they was doing. And I'm like, dang, all of this. So how come we not? How come we're not? How come we not winning? And I dare to say, if we did have more, like right away, a poor man's mentality can't jump right in. Yo, Rolls Royce, what's good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, my response to what you're saying, Mike, truthfully, I think that every single group that came to America at some point was considered a nigga to some degree. Every single group, the Irish, the Italians, every single group. The Italians built Manhattan skyline, and they were getting paid pennies on the dollar, falling off them buildings, dying, not making enough money to get it done. They was considered the niggas of the community. The difference between every group is they were they pulled together and pulled themselves up. But what I our issue is, and we don't have a problem with pulling together. Somebody constructively every day plots to keep us in a particular place, and we're considered the slaves and so we're the cattle of this. The new thing now is Walmart and jails. Those are the two new things, and we're the cattle. We're the actual thing that they're trying to make profit off of. And so they understand mental control. They understand these things, and they plot against us as a group. We're the only group that has that being done to them, and we're pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. We pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps century after century, over and over again, just to be knocked back down by some other group or means that destroys us, bro.
Right.
So, when you ask like why, it's not as simple as us being niggas. It's not as simple as us being consumers. It's not as simple as any of those things. There's really people who understand if you keep a person hungry, then you put food in front of him, he's going to overeat. Right. And so they keep doing those things. That's why Gucci is more important to us than property is. And then they make it property impossible to have. I could go on and on and on as to why. And then what they do is they throw a Beyonce and a Jay-Z in front of us to make it seem like it is really a doable thing.
Right.
We would just stop being niggas.
It's attainable.
It's surely not that. But I know you, Mike. I know people who, with the slightest bit of help that they give all of these other groups, oh, come on, stop playing where we would be at, man.
So it's by design.
We turn collard greens into healthy food in every instance, including the barbers of New York and the DJs of. Come on, stop playing, man. We not where we at by chance.
So it's all by design, right?
By design, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I was talking to my boy.
See, the interesting thing is, so they're bringing in another group of let's say niggas, with all of these other foreign people that they're bringing in. We got to try and figure out who's going to be at the bottom now. Somebody's still going to be the cattle by this, So we're all just like fighting for that position. And if black people don't forget about Gucci and start getting other things, they're going to still just be food, bro. Still just be hoes. Still just be while the pimps is pimping.
So we don't. So there's so many different layers to it. Like I was talking, and that's why. How I'll be thinking, and then I'm like, I'm gonna bring it to the check-in. We're gonna talk about this.
No doubt.
I just don't. So I'm not a fool to believe that the powers that be, people that just run the world, is gonna say, we're gonna give the blacks we're gonna give them some power too. Like I'd be a fool to think that. But I do think, and like in this big world, it's a small part of us that can have something. I do believe that. I believe we can have something. I'm not going to say that we can have a big piece of the pie, but collectively we can, but how? And then it's the thought process has to be changed. And then they always sticking in the infiltrators are getting stuck in to
Mikey, I'm gonna tell you how. And this is how.
Go ahead.
Like the 60s came, they put together they were brilliant. Like all of the marching and all of that stuff, all of that was it wasn't just to draw the conscience of white America. The marching was more about, back then, TV was the cutting edge technology at the time.
Right.
And America was telling the rest of the world that all of the people that they were spraying with water hoses, that they were sicking, those were criminals we're sicking dogs on. Those things, we're not just doing that to people. So what what Martin Luther King and them did was like, okay, listen, legally we should be able to protest anything. That's the law. So let's draw the cameras to us so they can see us legally protesting. Then on camera, they will see us illegally being attacked. So the rest of the world can see that these people are lying about who they sicking these people on. So they had well-dressed black people protesting. No violence necessarily, because if they would have become violent, then it would have defeated the whole thing. So all of this marching now is not the same thing as what it was back then.
Right.
When you ask me what we need to do, as we pooling and putting ourselves together, our problem now has always been wanting a piece of their pie instead of just wanting pie.
Right. So we can have our own.
What happened in the 60s If we would have just stayed with our stuff, built our own stuff up, they would have been trying to come to our stuff eventually. So when you ask me today what we need to do, think about this, Mike. In the '90s, when we was doing music and everything, who created Def Jam? A black man. Who owned the Charlotte Hornets? A black man.
Right.
Who owned BET? A black man.
Right. Right.
If we would have been comfortable with keeping small pieces of this, think about how 125th Street was, bro. All of those designers that was down there, they was making a couple of $100,000 a year. They just wasn't cool with that. They needed to make millions.
Yeah.
So they sold all of their companies. All of these other white people bought the companies, and so now nobody has power because nobody owns anything anymore. But if we would have just stayed with our few $100,000 a year and just built it up over decades, imagine where we would be right now. If we could have held on to the ownership of at least some media, and the ownership of a basketball club, the ownership, if we would have held on to those things, smaller pieces of pie, but at least some pie,
right,
we could have controlled more. So when you ask me what we need to do now, we got to stop trying to measure our success by other people's success, and just put our own, get our own thing. So like, I think that if black music wants to really control black music, we got to find a way to earn a living without radio, without using Madison Square Garden. So we got to make smaller venues, smaller amounts of things, but we got to control it. So we put together a show on our own property. We put together a thing, and we do it by word of mouth, or however we can do it without using any of their media, because they'll end up blocking us out of their media before they'll let us thrive if we put it together based on theirs. And before long enough, because this is the thing, if you eliminate all black people and all black creativity from music, do you know it won't advance? If you look at dancing, bro, the same dances we was doing as kids is what they're doing now, Mike.
Yep.
Nobody's dancing, man.
We the influence.
New groups of people, they elevated it, but they ain't coming. Do you remember when breaking first came out, man? It was amazing.
Remember that?
Who thought of that? Who thought of that? Ain't nobody thought of something higher than that now since then. 30, 40 years later.
Right.
It just ain't going nowhere because somebody outside of the black community controls what is cool in the black community.
That's right.
I guarantee you that Memphis stuff that they doing now, it would take over the planet if it ever got to be mainstream. It's just that right now that's not considered cool. So black people get to see them because of social media. It's kind of hot. But dude, we creative like that every year. It's a new thing. Bro.
It's always a new thing. Every 6 months, there's something new.
So that's my answer to your question.
Got you. Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. We can have a small piece. We can have something, but we can have a small piece. I already know of our pie. Like we can bake our own pie, bake a little pie, and we all can have.
Mike, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Listen. Let me tell you why.
Right, but I'm not wrong.
I want you to. Do you know the spending power of black people just in America?
Yes.
The spending power.
Yes.
What's the
I don't know the number. But we are the biggest.
If they took the black finances, we'd be the 16th most wealthy country in the world.
Right. So this was a few years ago. This spending power of the black community, just the black community, was over like $2.3 trillion. That's annual, every year, trillion. That's more money than the majority of small countries have to spend.
Exactly.
Right? So when you talk about a pie and the size of a pie, when you say a small piece of the pie, when you have just in the black community, like 30-something% of this country, and our spending power is in the trillions of dollars, and we have more money than small countries. The problem that we have, the black community structure has been destroyed. That's one. Individually, we have there's different. Some people are better off than others, right? But you take, let's say, 30 million people, right? 30 million black people in America, 40 million, right? 40 million black people. in America. Out of that 40 million black people in America, let's say 30% of them, right? 30% of them are in a position financially to come together and create a foundational structure to begin the process of changing the dynamics of the black community. So we could come if it was possible. It's not possible because of all the things that were done to black people, the psychologically. Like, look at, I'll give you an example with Puff's situation. Look at the conversations that's being had just amongst black people. The crazy thing is, very few. I'm not saying that it's not done, but black people, unfortunately, are more likely to tear down somebody that looks like them, publicly, privately, anywhere. It's been inbred in our nature now to want to see somebody who look like you, regardless of what the situation is, to tear them down. And this is why on the other day I said that one, regardless of whatever accusations Puff, I'm just using him as an example that he's being accused of. He hasn't been arrested, right? So all of this evidence, all of these people saying all of this stuff, should, like, again, I'm a student of history, so looking at that would give me pause and saying, damn, but this person, if this dude did all of this and all of these people coming forward, why he didn't get arrested? They crucified him. There's three things that they do to eliminate people. They alienate you, they isolate you, and it makes it easy for them to eliminate you. They alienated him by destroying his name and his reputation. So eventually he's going to be isolated because now nobody wants to come near him, nobody wants to support him. It's easy for, once they do that, they can eliminate him. They can, you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a process that these people sit in these big boardrooms and they think about toppling countries. How, like, they have great minds that how can we destabilize a country? So they go in, they send these operatives, CIA or whoever it is, they go in and destabilize. They take one or disgruntled side of the government. Look at America right now, Republicans and Democrats, right? It will be nothing if America was with some third world country for China, let's say China or Russia, to come in and say, look, if you get them out of power, we'll back you, we'll give you whatever you want, and then start sending rockets and all kind of stuff. That's how civil wars started in these other countries. But then they talk about the leader being horrible. Muammar Gaddafi, look at what they did. Right before they assassinated him, they was going to give that man the award, humanitarian award of the decade. So they like, a lot of stuff is wrong, and we look at people who are in position, they money, right? Money, unfortunately, equates to a lot of people a sense of freedom, a sense of making it. A lot of people with money are unhappy, commit suicide and stuff like that. Like, we have to, a reconditioning of our minds has to be done for us to come together, because as long as somebody can come in and spew an accusation, don't matter what the foundation is, it can always be destroyed. And look at prime example.
Right, but you asking, are you saying that we can't have anything? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that we already have something, but because our thinking is we think in we fraction as a community, as opposed to seeing. So the brother brought up the 60s, right? With all respect to everybody who made those sacrifices in the civil rights movement, I think the one thing that they did wrong was they pushed integration.
Exactly.
That's the point, though.
Because integration continued to destroy the black economic power structure that we had, right? Because in segregation, we had in this Tulsa, Oklahoma, there were plenty black Wall Streets around this country. That history is buried. They flooded town. There's literally towns in South Carolina, North Carolina that's under lakes because they were thriving in
right here.
At the time during the Depression. So like black communities thrived because all we had was us. So the black dollar circulated in our communities 20, 30 times before it left, if it ever left. It doesn't happen now because.
Yo, good morning.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
It's two things with what you're saying that's problematic though. First thing, that $3 trillion that the black people have, none of it has anything to do with business. None of it has anything to do with ownership. And so,
I also said it's the spending power.
Let me make my point. My thing here is, so now all of these people that can spend this money are able to spend it as long as somebody else employs them.
Right.
So at the moment that we're trying to topple these businesses you're talking about, jobs end. So now we no longer have $3 trillion now. Now we no longer have that money base. Now we don't, because we don't make business. We don't own property.
We don't own nothing.
Any of the things that we're doing. So that $3 trillion is an illusion that these people are able to exploit right now, and it would end immediately by the time we were trying to put something together for ourselves. And the other thing that I but I absolutely agree with you when you say that we came to and that was why I said again that we have to try and put together our put things together in a smaller basis.
Somebody mute their background. Prince, mute your background.
Say again?
No, I was saying one of them to mute their background.
Yeah, we have to put things together on a smaller basis that
right.
can be more sustainable more immediately.
Right. It's our own stuff. So that's the point I'm making. Like, we can have something if we have our own. I'm not saying build a country and take over a country. You know, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying it's a small group that can build, and we can actually have something. We can do it.
And my point is, we have so like you come together. The one thing that everyone needs is a place to call home. Like you have to, we own land, not collectively, but there are plenty of black people who own houses, who own land, right? Plenty. They might not own 1,000 acres or whatever the case may be, but again, you know, knowing why that is, the root of that, and the things that we face, the problems that we face with acquiring those things, getting loans and stuff like that. All of these things, these are barriers that strategically put into place to keep us in a certain position. However,
right.
When I say that we have something, right? They're black. It's not 60. They're black millions in this country. They're black multi-millions. Killer Mike promotes that One United Bank, the black-owned bank, where, you know,
right, I know
about it. I heard about it, but like, we can start our own bank. We can start our own industries. Everything. There's nothing. First of all, America is for sale. You literally can buy anything in America. You can buy land. You can buy a fucking bridge if you wanted to. If you had enough money, you could buy a basketball team. All of this stuff that we're talking about, you can purchase.
Okay.
There's very few. Mark Cuban doesn't solely own the Denver Dallas Mavericks.
Right.
He has investors, right? And so the same concept, has to be applied. Like we look at things as individuals as opposed to collectively. Because now the reason why we have that mentality is because we were bred to distrust each other. Right?
Okay.
We talked about that the other day. When Ashanti said, when she hired a black person, they was lazy and this, that, and the other, and some, for the most part, that's true. But I also, to counter that, I just read an article where they talking about formerly incarcerated people and why businesses should hire formerly incarcerated people because of their work ethic, right? Because of they want to get in there, they want to learn, they want to become productive members of society, so they work 10 times harder than the average person who never went to prison, right? So for every example of that you have of someone being lazy, there are 10 to 15 people, maybe more than that are getting there and bust their ass. For sure. But as long as we continue seeing ourselves as lazy, as incompetent, as we don't have the ability to come together collectively, and we don't all have to agree on how we get there. We just all need to agree on what the goal is.
Right. That's the whole point, though.
Goal. We have to agree on how to get there.
Right.
No, here's why. Here's why. Because there's more than one way to skin a cat. That.
But let me think. Okay, so now I remember listening to y'all. I guess it was a few weeks back, talking about voting and all of these things, and we pulled together to vote and all of this stuff. Do you know how the rest of the country gets things done? It's not voting, right? And that's not to say that the election is not important, but these people spend millions of dollars lobbying before they vote. Mm-hmm. And so instead of buying Gucci, they pay somebody $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 as a group, so that when a person finally gets into office, these people
Prince, mute your background.
They're lobbies, and that's so a part of our concept.
So the idea that I had when I was talking about coming together and develop a voting block, it was less about.
I wasn't anti what you were saying. I was just saying that we don't understand the process.
No, I know, and I wasn't. It was less about the actual voting power of coming together, but it was about the power of we had to influence whoever was the policymaker. So you're right. The lobbyists pay, but at the end of the day, they know. Let's say Wells Fargo or whatever pharmaceutical company gives 10 senators or Congress people, all of these millions of dollars. They represent a small fraction, as opposed to a group, a pack that comes together that has members, let's say 50,000 members, 100,000 members, and say, look, here's our agenda. Here's what we want you to take to Congress and put on the floor for a vote. The money from a personal greed on the individual has great influence. However, the threat of losing that seat it means even more, because you can, while you're in office, you can get all the money you want. But if I come to you and let's say like city council, let's say you the council speaker, and if you look at just in New York City, the amount of votes that the city government, those individuals, the amount of votes that they win by is little. It's not 100,000, whatever. It might be 100, 200, 300, maybe 1,500, if that. Now we have an organization with just 5,000 members, and they say, look, if you don't, I can potentially have these 4,999 other people that I have with me in my organization vote for your opponent. That means something, because if you win your seat, if you got in that seat file, you got 1,600 more votes, and damn, you see how it's about the unification that where the power lies, not with the actual vote. It's the unification. You understand what I'm saying? Good morning, Prince.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm sitting here listening, and first and foremost, if you dilute something, it makes it weak.
What's up, Prince?
What's going on, Royce? So if you dilute something, it makes it weaker. So when we decided to integrate, what I'm saying, we knew, like, there was geniuses that came with the idea of integration. There wasn't no dummies that thought about this. You know what I'm saying? When we decided to integrate, we knew that we was going to get weaker. We knew that we weren't going to get stronger when we integrated.
Some knew.
We knew that we wasn't going to get stronger, because, and also the reality of it is, it's hard to move forward without including them, because they own everything. They have the power. They have the decision-making processes, right? Secondly, why do you think, and this is just a rhetorical question, why do you think it's mandatory to get car insurance and not life insurance? Why do you think it's a law to get car insurance and not life insurance? Why? Because if we all had life insurance and we passed away, generational wealth starts. Money starts to generate. And now we become a problem. So a lot of things that's in place now are only things to keep us calm. The laws, the legislators, the Congress. All those things are just all those things are just to keep us calm, but they're not realistic. Because even if we do create a voters block, because I love the idea of creating a voters block, I love the idea of politics and like that. Even though we get to a certain point, they'll figure out a way to eradicate all of that. They'll figure out a way to move all of that out the way and say, we're going to do this now. Now, okay, no more voting. We're going to do a dictatorship. We're going to go with what this person says, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So what we need to do, what we need to learn how to do is we need to redefine what making it looks like. Right? Because a lot of us like a lot of our people who, like you said, Royce, what Mike said, what El said, has been deprived so long that once you sit in front of a table with shit you haven't eaten, you want to try to eat everything on the table. And they know it's by design. They deprive us so much. You know what I'm saying? Even my property, I sit in my house right now on my property, but the reality of it, I don't own it because I'm going to pay taxes on this property for the rest of my life. And if I stop, even if I pay the house off, if I stop paying taxes, they take my property. You know what I'm saying? Right. So by design, we, number one, this ain't our country. We were brought here. By design, right? We are not supposed to have anything. By design, right? And when we started thriving, we started owning businesses, we started buying property, like, oh shit, we got to be careful now. Let's start putting some borders around. Let's start redlining. Let's start white popping. Let's start charging. Look at the interest rates going to 8%. How are we going to make it with 8% interest rate right now? How is a person that makes $25 an hour is going to make it in New York City on an 8% interest rate on a dollar? How? I just came from Greece. The U.S. dollar is worth it's worth nothing. It was 79 cents. They did not want to take American cash in Greece. They did not want it. They're like, yo, go trade that in, go get euros and bring the euro back. We don't want your cash. It's worth nothing.
I lived in Europe and the dollar was super powerful in the 80s. They
it's worth nothing
to get an American dollar back then.
Now it's worth nothing. You know, I sit here and I struggle with I got a small life insurance policy. Don't know what's gonna happen when I'm not here. I can't control it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I can leave my children or somebody else, something, whatever case. But we really don't know. You know what I mean? But I think we need to define what making it looks like, man. We think that making it is having a new car and a new house and some new clothes. That's not really making it. You know what I'm saying? I think that as long as you fucking okay with who you are and what you're doing in the moment while we're here, because we are here to pass. We are here to leave. You know what I'm saying? And as long as while we're here, we okay and we keeping the people around us okay, then I think that's the best start we can have. You know, the civil rights movement, when we look back at it, man, it was the most powerful movement that ever came through the world. Not just the country, through the world, because there was collective movement of ideas that strong black men and women thought as a collective. We don't have that anymore.
Right. So that's the whole point. That's the whole point of me saying, I don't know if it's getting confusing when I'm saying that we can have a peace. I don't understand the confusion, but I'm saying we could create our own. That's what I'm saying. Like we could buy real estate. Yeah, you're going to have to pay taxes on the real estate. We don't own it. Obviously, we don't. But we can thrive. We can get back to thriving, but it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a thought process. It's going to take, that's why the question came up. How come we're the biggest influencers, but we don't have anything? So the train of thought, it has to change. Everything I could like I live in Atlanta, right? I could move to Buckhead. In Buckhead, then I could come back and say, yo, Prince, yo, come to Atlanta and come to Buckhead, right? And just say you was one of those you just a wild dude, and you come over there and you start wilding out, and I'm like, yo, Prince, you can't do that over here. You're like, yo, you changed, Mike. Like that has to change. That has to stop. Like we can't do that. And this is why I say, like when I say the other day, I say, yo, stop being so vulgar on here. Let's change the narrative on to being the best person that we can be. That's why I'm saying those things. We don't gotta just conform to what society says. And hey, everybody's doing it. I'm never been that guy. Yo, everybody's doing this and everybody's doing that. I don't want that. I want to create my own. I've always created my own. I always done for myself. I never got a check from nobody. That's not to like toot a horn or anything like that. I'm just saying it's the train of thought. That's what it is. We got to change that.
I agree with the train of thought, Mike, but there are people who need people. Everybody is not going to be an entrepreneur.
Nah, that ain't it.
You know what I'm saying? On their own, right?
No, but I'm not saying that. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. I don't mean that. Everybody can't be chiefs. That's obvious. People have to work for somebody, but we can have something and we can build together. I'm not just saying me. I'm just saying the way I think is just a little different. If you got a business, I will work for you. I don't have a problem with that. That has to change too. You know, the crabs in the barrel mentality got to change.
We were talking yesterday about J. Cole and all of that stuff, bro.
Yeah.
When we was coming up, man, the hustler was the man. The person making the person. There was no way that you looked at the Fiend as the hero. And the fact that these cats, so we was talking about some of the greatest rappers and they kept saying Future. Yo, I couldn't imagine that he was making, when I first heard the song Marley, and what was it, he was talking about mixing 3 or 4 of them drugs together. I didn't know that shit like that. Yeah. Ask my kids what is that they even talking about? And when I heard it, I was like, ah! And this is what, so I say this to say to you, bro, when did we go from being kingpins to being fiends? And that's cool. And so the thing that pushed us got, that's what it starts right there, bro. But I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they asked me about the steak and take.
Yeah.
And I told them, for me, the thing that I always remember about the steak and take on Linden Boulevard and Merrick Boulevard was, I never seen like such clean cut, masculine, like strong looking men. And I was a little boy, and they called me sir when I came through the door. I always remember that. That's what attracted me to Islam. It was always those dudes' image right there, man.
Strong brother.
And I say this to say to you, so like, if we can make that cool, just men being men, bro. Men being men. Suffering when it's time to suffer, and take your flowers when it's time to take your flowers. But do more suffering than taking flowers. Dude, and make that cool. And have men that follow us in there. Have little boys that follow us in there. It starts there alone, man.
And
that's exactly. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's what you said yesterday about J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? I talked to Royce offline yesterday, and he said, yo, we got to make it okay to see another black man apologize to another black man, another man.
Exactly. And in our society, unfortunately, vulnerability doesn't show value.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I was saying, like, I wear this black square because I try to make it cool to like be a nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like, be a square. You know what I'm saying? Like, pay your taxes, take care of your family. I want to make it cool.
Anybody that know your history, you exactly not that thing.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But I want to show something different. I was going to say, like, you think that Nike will fold if black people stop buying Nikes? Hell no. They just going to go find some way to sell chicken. You know what I'm saying? They figure it out. And I'm not trying to be funny, but they figure it out. You think Adidas folded when Kanye said don't buy Adidas no more? No, they go buy 10 Chick-fil-A's and let somebody else own it, you know what I'm saying, and don't look like Nike on it. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. They figure it out. Yo, we as black people, we got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? We got to figure out what...
I got to go, y'all. We got a medical emergency.
Yo, that was good talking, man.
I am.
We got to figure, and we can figure it out. You know what I'm saying? As a collective, we can figure it out. But we also got to understand the reality of it is everybody can't go. Yo, and it's sad.
It's true.
Sad, but the truth is everybody can't go. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Because the hardest thing to overcome, I realized growing up as a man, I'm gonna be 50. The hardest thing is overcoming temptation, right? And changing someone's mindset. Those are the 2 hardest things that I realized. Like overcoming temptation. When I came home, I seen all of these things. I wanted it yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I was deprived of it. Like you said, Royce, once you're deprived of it and you see one thing, you see 1 car, you want 3 cars. You see this, you want this. You know what I'm saying? I was deprived of it. But the other thing was changing my mindset and worrying about how people was going to view me, how people was going to view Prince and not Buck. You know what I'm saying? They call me pussy, excuse my language. They like, yo, you soft now. Yo, you ain't no shooter. Yeah, and I never wanted to be that.
Yo, you know how long I've been dealing with that? You know how long I even gotta ask you that. It's a rhetorical question. You know how long I've been dealing with that? But I don't care what people think. I keep saying the power of example. I'm gonna be that. Black Square, whatever you want to call me, L7. I don't care about none of that. I'm just being Mike. And that's the best version of Mike I can be. And it's going to be, like you said, everybody can't go. It's going to be a small percentage that we're going to touch. That's going to be like, we going with y'all. The other people, they're not going to be able to go. So that's that small piece.
Mm-hmm. You know something, Mike? I threw my hands up, man. I was hurt. I was done. You remember when Gucci made them sweaters that had the monkey face or had the black face,
yes,
monkey looking face on it?
Yes.
I was done at it because at that time, like black people was like, yeah, we done Gucci, and I'm not picking Gucci or there's so many things that I put in the same category as Gucci. But I remember when that happened, man, and I was really proud of black people coming together and we standing for something, man. Even though it's not much, we standing for something.
Right.
Until I started hearing all of the celebrities. But let me just make this one point, then all of the celebrities were like, so how long we gonna do this? Because I can't wait to put my Gucci back on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, dude, you need to take that stuff out and throw it away, man.
Right.
Your words. The same thing happened with NFL. How long we gonna kneel? Because I can't wait to go watch football again. The same thing. Like
we don't stand for nothing for real, bro. We don't stand for nothing, man.
Oh.
I'm saying we as a race, but we got to give up.
We got short term. We got looking at what happened with Gucci. You know, at the same time that was happening with Gucci, you know that it was strategically that H&M wouldn't get the same thing. Now you went from the most expensive store to the cheapest store where most black people shop, and they're gonna say, okay, they're not gonna buy Gucci. Let's see if they still go to H&M. H&M had the same problem with the black monkey. This H&M, the store that most black people got, that most black people go shop at. We get stuff, nice stuff for cheap. They do the same thing.
This is the thing, your point. So in the middle of all of this, man, as I sit here, because I remember how I felt concerning this, that whole thing with Kanye and the Jews and all of this. First thing, I grew up, man, at the same time. So I went to school with nothing but Jewish kids, man. Some of the people that I love dearly are Jewish. I was also in the music industry. I worked with nothing but Jewish people, bro. And so, but the thing I always respect, first thing, Jewish people in the 1800s going into the 1900s, they was considered niggers, just like we was considered niggers, bro. The difference between them is they had lighter skin, and so they were able to they could sit up there, like we have Black Wall Streets, they could sit up there Wall Streets and not get attacked by a whole bunch of black people thriving, by a whole bunch of Jewish people thriving, because it didn't look suspicious. But other than that, they were the same things that we were. But they pulled together and got their business going. But the thing that I love and respect about them to this day, man, dude, say what you want, do what you want, bro. If I don't know what the favorite Jewish thing is, whatever it is, but let somebody from that company violate and see what all the Jews do together.
Right.
See what they do together, bro. That place is going out of business, and it's going out of
business. But that's by design. We are like there's a design that shows that we should not rock with each other. It's by design, Royce. They never was taught that. You taught this from day one. From day one, when you don't sit with each other in school, you got this group over here, you got the light skins over here. When you taught this from day one, it becomes indoctrinated. Jews was never taught that. Arabs was never taught that. Albanians were never taught that. We were taught to make sure that you stay away from them kids over there. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
We were taught that. And how do you unteach that? Remember I was talking about, this was a while ago, I was talking about like when a cop, he doesn't really know how to undraw his weapon. We don't really know how to unlearn the shit we've been taught from day one. It's hard.
It is hard. But we got to do something.
I think the beginning of this stuff is what we're doing right here, right now.
Right.
Bro. Right here, right now. Just three masculine men talking about an issue, and then we're going to put some real action behind it, even if it's just small action.
We playing seeds. We playing seeds, Royce. And that's why I asked the question. You know how I do, man. That's why I ask these questions, because people need to hear everything that we are. These are the way we think, like really and wholeheartedly. People really want to have something, but it's the leadership. It's no leadership. That's the problem. like I was talking to my dude yesterday. He said, remember the dudes on the block used to say, yo, Mike, get out of here. You can't be over here doing that. But they might say, yo, Prince. And this is what happened. They went to Prince and said, yo, come on, man. Come get some money over here. You know, it's certain people that you're gonna do that with. And then you got the gang members, right? You got the gang bang. They even had dudes at the head that was telling cats, yo, don't do this and don't do that. Yo, stay away from the barbershop because they're untouchable over there. Now it's the young dudes that just running everything, and they are out here recklessly over all these different times from the crack era that really destroyed, you know, two or three generations of us. It's still going on. They destroyed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Mike, you are 100% right. What controls the masses right now? And I'm not judging nobody because like I told you before, I only smoke weed when I go to another country. Weed, right? What is the narrative right now of weed? Let's put it in every neighborhood. Let's flood the neighborhoods. Let's slow these motherfuckers down. And now kids, right? Young kids, because as an adult, responsible adult, you smoke some weed, you're responsible. You can take care of your shit. They don't know how to be responsible with stuff like that. The same weed is the new crack. Weed is the new crack.
You want to know the sad thing about that, what you're saying, Prince? Because weed is inconspicuous. A dude that's high, he thinks, yo, he's just in chill mode.
Yeah.
You don't realize, yo, you got armies coming at you from all directions. You need to be so on point that they can't move on you, but you in chill mode all the time. They don't get that. You be being a crackhead. At least you can see the side effects.
Smoking weed is like wearing a pair of Jordans. It's okay. It's acceptable. It's okay. But what's also doing is slowing you down. It's making you late to your interview. You're in an interview. You can't function. You're not going to get the job. Guess who is going to get the job? The one that's on point. The one that's vibrant. The one that's ready to go. And we're not ready to go. We're not ready to go, man. We gotta redefine what making it looks like. We think that fucking getting $40 to go buy an eighth is we made it.
Yo, I used to work with people in the music industry, right? I'm not gonna say no names, but I used to work with people in the music industries, and I didn't understand the idea of addiction to weed until that happened, man. And what I used to go through was we had work to get done. So we would get up early, we would get moving. The whole time, yo, we gotta hit the weed up, gotta hit the weed spot, gotta hit the weed spot, gotta hit the weed spot. I'm like, yo, we gotta get this done. It's too we can't stop to do that right now. We can't get nothing done because we hit the weed spot. Then when we hit the weed spot, yo, man, you need to hit this blunt, boys. You need to hit this blunt.
Right.
You need to chill, man.
You need to calm down.
Dude, and so we either chasing the weed or now we got the weed, we can't be productive because niggas want to just chill.
They want to, yo, how many hours out of the day are you high, man? That's the question.
People wasn't hungry enough, man. They blamed everything around them except for that concept. And we was in a situation, absolutely, we was fighting an uphill struggle. It was somebody was pushing us back down every step of the way. But we could have made it if we would have just been all on point.
Right.
And so many people making so many excuses and everybody needing to be high, bro. And I never understood that weed was addictive to that degree until I was around that much weed, bro.
Right.
And that was back before weed was what it is today. I can only imagine what it'd be like being around these cats that's damn near they on mescaline or something. They so high now.
So imagine if once we get to a point where we do collectively throughout the states and building this community have some stuff. We got to get to the point where we're going to know that they're going to infiltrate and throw somebody in there, somebody that looks like us, that's going to try to destroy and mess everything up. We got to be prepared for all those things. So, you know, maybe I'm just trying to move. Maybe I'm moving too far fast without explaining it.
Not. I'm like, what you're talking about is what I'm talking about. You're exactly right.
Right.
They're already on it right now. The fact that we having this on a public, they already on that right now, bro.
They on it, but they're not gonna stop me. I ain't gonna let them stop me. Y'all ain't gonna let them stop me because you got me. You got me. Prince got me. Royce got me. Come on, man. We can move.
Yo, man, there's a term called social constructs, and if whoever's watching should Google and check out. It's a group of ideas made up by men. You know what I'm saying? And there's a small amount of men in this world that make up all the ideas that people should follow. They all came to agreement that legalizing weed was the way to go, right? They came to this agreement, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to stop the street peddlers from selling weed. We're going to legalize it, and we're going to tax the shit out of it. And that's just how we're going to build the country up, because nobody's smoking crack anymore. The time when the country was thriving the most was during the crack era, because so much money was being generated and so much money was being spent. Cars, people was buying houses, people was buying furs and liquor and all those
Everything.
things. We got to figure it out, right? We're not going to figure out unless we do it with something that can control the mind. You know what I'm saying? So let's bring the weed. So now, if you look, if you walk down something, I walk down something every morning. There's a weed spot every block, every single block, literally from 111 all the way down to the Long Island Railroad. But they're all illegal.
Right.
They're all illegal. They're not legal. You can't sell weed without a license, right? And nobody has a license. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has a license, but it's acceptable, Mike. They're not. You don't see them getting raided. You see me walk every morning. You never see them getting raided. You never see any of that. But the dude on the corner can't sell weed. He's up against the wall with a gun to the back of his neck.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Taking his money out of his pocket, taking his little weed, and he can't sell weed, but you can sell it in the store. So it's me. So weed has become, and whoever's watching, don't mind. I'm not knocking it. I just admitted that I smoke when I'm out the country, when I'm in vacation mode. I don't knock it, but weed has become the way to control us now. They're going to control us. They're going to control, because even grandma's smoking now, grandpa's smoking now. Because we trying to escape this reality that we ain't getting nowhere. We trying to escape this shit.
What you're talking about is just the reinvention of prohibition. This is what they did in the 20s.
With alcohol.
Right.
And the cigarettes.
So bust it.
You know what I'm saying?
Bust it. I got to run. I got to get to work. But I want y'all to really... I want y'all to really think about that question, man. How come our influence doesn't match our progress? And we got to figure out how to progress. You know what I'm saying? How do we process this and make progress out of it? That's what we got to figure out. There's so many layers, different layers to it, but we planting seeds, man. I'm throwing the seeds out there. We got to water those seeds.
And why is OJ, why is OJ being remembered as someone who killed the white woman, who got exonerated of it, who was found not guilty of it, and not being the legendary football player that he was? It's just how the world works.
Yep.
It's just how the world works.
I love what Cameron and Mace did for him. He got to die with dignity, regardless, though, bro. Yep. They really elevated that cat, man. If you ever watched their pod show, he had elevated them, man.
He had fun on there.
Appreciate you, Ernest.
He had fun on there.
I loved it, man. I loved it, man.
Let's go.
Dignity. I love that, man.
Yeah, man. Right. I love you. You know what I'm saying? You give me dignity. You know what I'm saying? I love you, Mike. You give me dignity, and we gotta love one each other. We gotta be okay with saying that.
That's right.
Okay. That's right. Vulnerability brings value, but we think the opposite. It's not true.
Too many people scared to get hurt, man. That's what it is. It's pride and things like that in the way, but you can never fully be yourself until you be vulnerable. So that's my thought.
Agreed.
So with that, y'all gotta go make these donuts. It's Friday, man. Let's get money. I'll see y'all later.
Get you,
Peace and love.
Peace.
Yo, Ernest, peace and love, man. See y'all later.